Alright, I wanted to make this video just to show you something I find kind of interesting. Alright, right now I am rendering a scene with two different instances of Blender, and this is on my main rendering rig. Now, before I started doing this earlier, about 10-15 minutes ago or so, I had been mining overnight with this computer, and the reason why I'm mining is to help pay for these expensive RTX 3000 series GPUs. Now, this right here it's obviously BlueStacks, which is, just a Android emulator. But I have a program, or I have outlets that are made by a company called Emporia, and they have like power consumption meters built into it, and they're also Wi-Fi. So basically I can communicate, or it can transmit in real time what the current and statistical usage, power usage is for that outlet. And right now this is the outlet that I have my main computer plugged into. Now while it was actually mining, which was pretty much all night, I was pulling around just under 300 watts. And this is, each one of these bars represent 1 minute of time. And you can see it's fairly consistent. And I can go all the way over here until right, let's see, it just, the scale changed. It didn't actually change anything. To about right here, which is when I got up this morning. And I'm still mining, but I'm starting to use my computer for other things also, because my computer, it will mine, and I can use it for pretty much everything else except for rendering or playing games. And I can't really tell that it's doing anything other than looking at more power consumption. So the power consumption went up by about 40 watts just by doing other stuff, whether it be watching YouTube videos or whatever. And then right here I turned off the miner, and the power consumption dropped to in and around 200 watts. And then you have these little peaks. Now I'm going to change this to second. Alright. Now this is a more detailed, because each little block, like you see a little block right there, that represents 1 second of time. Now, obviously right here is where I was mining. The miner turned off. First, one of the GPUs turned off, then the second GPU. And these little peaks, this peak right here is me doing a test render for these. Me doing another test render and another test render. But look at the power consumption during the test renders. 450 watts. It basically is, while rendering, my system is pulling 150 watts more than it does while mining. Another test render. And a lot of this stuff in between is me setting up the camera and so forth, which most of these little things is differences. It's representing the difference in the amount of power that the CPU itself is using. A couple more test renders. A couple more side by side, making small little changes with lighting and so forth. And here's where I actually started rendering. Right here is when I started rendering with this instance over here, which is the 3060, RTX 3060. And right here is when I added this instance, which is the RTX 3070. Because it actually renders all the frames much quicker if you have one GPU assigned to one instance and another GPU assigned to another instance, and then have basically each instance doing essentially every other frame. It ends up doing it a lot quicker because the amount of time it takes to actually set up a frame, the GPUs are essentially doing nothing. But by having two instances, at least one GPU is constantly rendering, whether it's this one or this one, but they overlap obviously. But you can see right here that ever since I started rendering, which was actually ever since I started rendering with both GPUs, which was about 8:51, 8:52 in the morning, it has been consistently using, about 407. Like right now, I have it all the way over to the right, so it's showing real-time usage right now. 460 to 480 watts is what this computer is using right now. Yeah. So yeah, for all the minor bashers, rendering, at least for me, takes significantly more power than mining, or at least it does on my rig. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that. I just think that's kind of interesting. Guess that's it. Later, people.